vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman!
This is an improvised video. There was no planning behind it, but then again, when stuff like this happens, there's not really much to plan. It's harsh, you know? Life has its ups and downs, but you know what? It's times like these when people pass on, you should be thankful for what they provided for you. And depending on your outlook in life, you should be thankful that that they provided something good for people to look up to. Just a few minutes ago, I had found out the rather harrowing news that Kevin Conroy, arguably the definitive voice of Batman, has passed away. As of right now, I don't know how he died, but people say he didn't look in too good a condition. So, my days. Kevin Conroy, he's just passed away. So who was Kevin Conroy? Well, he was a voice actor, most distinctly known for being the voice of Batman.
You're not safe here. No one is.
I am vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman!
Every decision you've ever made ends with death and misery. People die. I stop you. You'll just break out and do it again.
Ever since Batman the Animated Series, which was released way back in the 1990s, I didn't really grow up watching Batman the Animated Series, but it was when I was watching Nostalgia Critic, like he would just like preach on and then I say, amen to Batman the Animated Series. Like preach on about how good like Batman the Animated Series was. That a Nostalgia Critic, aka Doug Walker, ranked Batman the Animated Series as one of his top favorite television shows. He ranked the Batman character, especially the Michael Keaton version and the Kevin Costner version. Michael Keaton and Kevin Conroy were Doug Walker's two definitive favorite versions of Batman. So Kevin Conroy, for many people, is the definitive Batman. He's voiced Batman, aka Bruce Wayne, all throughout the Batman animated series, and he's voiced Batman in a whole wide range of DC animated content ever since. Not every single DC animated content, but most of it. There's been many versions of Batman, and all of them have provided their own unique takes on the character of Batman, whether it be his detective skills or his brute strength or his sheer will for justice or anything like that. Like even like the Adam West version brings about this the corny side of it. There's various versions of Batman. He's one of the characters where he can be really corny but also can be really serious depending on the adaptation. But for many people, Kevin Conroy is the definitive Batman. So I just thought I'd make a video dedicated to Kevin Conroy's sheer talent as Batman and why his voice is just the voice associated with Batman. It's mainly because, to get the elephant out of the room, Kevin Conroy has that right deepness. And, you look at some characters in pop culture and there are just some of those characters who really define this masculine hero that a lot of young men and even older men look up to. Batman is one of those characters, and Kevin Conroy perfectly encapsulates that deep masculinity about Batman. He's brooding, he's determined, he can be menacing when he wants to be, but also protective towards those he's trying to save.
Kevin would come in and go, no, I don't think Batman would quite say it like this, or this is how I want to say this line. And we're like, okay, cool, awesome, let's go for it.
Don't worry about me. You're needed out there. I've been doing the character now for 20 years. The audience knows him as well as I do. They would know in a second if I did something inauthentic, and they'd call me on it.
Get out of my way, Quinn.
Leave us alone, B-Man!
I said move!
He's a kind of voice that you can depend on. He's a leader. He's got authority. He's a man that demands authority, who just what's the word? Irradiates authority just from the sound of the voice. I mean, there's been multiple takes on the Batman voice. Like a lot of people love to make fun of Christian Bale's voice, but you know, even still, like I think with the Christian Bale voice, you do get the impression that he's disguising his voice in a very intimidating way, and it certainly works. I guess that's one critique you could make about like Kevin Conroy's version of like Bruce Wayne aka Batman, is that he's not hiding his voice very well. But still, Kevin Conroy did a great job capturing the playboy lifestyle of Bruce Wayne, but then of course the sheer willpower of the Batman himself. It's a role he's really got himself into, and he perfectly captures the voice to the point where whenever people read the comics, like Kevin Conroy's voice is the first voice that you hear in your head. It's a really authoritative voice, and it really is that kind of voice that can bring you hope, but also bring fear to people who are getting on the wrong side of Batman. Batman the Animated Series was great enough as it was. He's done a whole wide range of other projects, but people often make the case that the animated series was Kevin Conroy at his peak in terms of the animated content, because a lot of the other animated content seemed to steer a bit more towards the broodiness, but not enough towards some of these other virtuous characteristics of Batman. Like in some Justice League cartoons, he was a bit too much of a lone wolf, whereas they preferred the more balanced Batman in the animated series. Although a lot of people said that Kevin Conroy's talents managed to continue all the way up to the Batman Arkham Asylum games, which is one of my top favorite video game series ever made.
Get out of my way, Quinn.
Leave us alone, B-Man!
I said move!
When you see Mark...
Honestly, I love the Batman Arkham games. I think the Batman Arkham games is one of the best adaptations of Batman that is ever going to be. The Arkham Asylum game was really revolutionary for not just adventure games, but also for superhero games and just licensed games in general. For such a long time, people just didn't take many licensed video games that seriously. A lot of them were usually terrible, and superheroes were kind of these generic beat 'em up kind of things, or worse, you had Superman 64. But Batman Arkham Asylum wasn't just a game about Batman. It was a game where you felt like Batman. It had those stealth sequences where you take out the enemies one by one, and the enemies get really paranoid whenever they're the last one standing. You get Batman working on detective mode, and you're actively working to try to solve certain mysteries and follow certain trails. I think the balance of Batman's character is perfectly encapsulated in the Batman Arkham series, where, of course, the series peaked in Batman Arkham City. Kevin Conroy managed to preserve his vocal talents as Batman from the animated series to the Arkham series. And it was actually watching a playthrough of Batman Arkham Asylum, I was first introduced to Mark Hamill as the Joker, and I thought, wait, that's Luke Skywalker? It's just so fascinating to see this young hero just also be this goofy villain. Welcome! Sorry, need to do it. Welcome to the madhouse, Batman! I set a trap and you sprang it gloriously! John Bailey does a better Mark Hamill version of the Joker than me. Honestly, Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill are just like the double act. He could be emotional. Kevin Conroy could be emotional. He could be stern and intimidating. And some people could say, I didn't deliver this line as well as he did back then, but you still felt the power of Batman whenever he was delivering those lines. So that's some raw talent right there. And there have been some other voice actors who've did their best to replace Kevin Conroy for certain projects. You had Roger Craig Smith, who I usually associate with Sonic the Hedgehog, voicing a younger Bruce Wayne / Batman in Batman Arkham Origins.
The helicopter's tail rotor was severed when the fuselage hit the building. I should review the crime scene and find that tail rotor. I'm on your side.
My side? My side works within the law. We've earned Gotham's respect.
If that were true, I wouldn't be here.
And he did a good job doing an impression of a younger Kevin Conroy kind of Batman. And Troy Baker, who I actually met, did a great job depicting a younger Joker, which makes sense because Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy have been doing the respective role for years. I suppose even when you have adaptations of Batman that don't quite work as well as the source material, like with Batman the Killing Joke, I have a lot of problems with that movie, but still, you can sense that Kevin Conroy's still giving it his all, even if the material he's given with isn't always that great. You can really sense that he's still giving it his all.
I don't want to hurt you. I don't want either of us to end up killing the other. But we're running out of alternatives. I could rehabilitate you. You don't need to be alone.
And you just hear Kevin Conroy say those lines, and you just think, yeah, that's Batman. That is Batman. That's not someone trying to be Batman. That is Batman. That right deepness, that masculinity, that determination to bring justice. That is Batman. So he's been able to carry through with that performance, and now he's passed on. And I'm glad he managed to wrap up his work with the Batman Arkham series, because even though Arkham Knight did have one or two flaws with its narrative, the Arkham Knight game managed to wrap up the Arkham series on a high note. And Kevin Conroy was definitely giving it all. He recorded so many lines. Did correct me if I'm wrong. Did Kevin Conroy record over 100 lines? Did he get the Guinness World Record for the amount of lines dedicated for one game or something? I don't know, but it was something like that. But yes, Kevin Conroy will definitely be missed, and there'll be many people who will try to follow up this act. I'd say the voice actor who played Batman in the Under the Red Hood animated film would probably be a good replacement. And Roger Craig Smith does a good job of portraying a younger Kevin Conroy type Batman. But I think for future adaptations of Batman, I think people ought to take notes on Kevin Conroy's delivery of the Batman character. Because nobody could ever replicate Batman as well as Kevin Conroy could. So in honor of Kevin Conroy, I think I owe it to myself to upload a video or two of me playing Batman Arkham Asylum, because I've actually been recording myself playing Arkham Asylum. Yes, I have the HD version. A lot of people say, you hypocrite, you sacrilegious fool, the HD version sucks. Yeah, I know people aren't fond of the HD version, but hey, I've played this game before, the Arkham Asylum, before on the PC, so I thought I'd give it a go on like my PlayStation 5. I put it on hard mode just to see where I can get from there. I'm having a fun time and getting through the hard bits as well, and finding out more trivia playing the game again. So given the recent events, I think I owe it to myself to upload videos of that. So look forward to that. Yeah, no plans. No punchline. Just, oh yeah, I might upload something else Kevin Conroy related, but I think it will make you laugh. So stay tuned. Cal McCritchie signing out. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy.